Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here to talk to you about my comic pickups for March 23rd, 2022. But first, please be sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below what you're most excited for this week. I will be doing a giveaway once we hit 250 subscribers, so let's get to that and let's dive right into what I'm picking up this week. Starting off with Avengers Forever number 4. This is written by Jason Aaron, and to be honest, I will always get Avengers. I think Avengers is just kind of a part of me, and so when the Avengers decided to split into two titles, the regular Avengers and Avengers Forever, I had to pick up both of them. The Avengers Forever seems to deal with more of a multiversal Avengers world, so in this issue in particular, I'm very excited to see Thor's granddaughters return, and we haven't seen them since Jason Aaron's last Thor run, and they were a pretty big part in those storylines, so I'm really excited to see what they're doing in this world, why they're in this story, and how it's all going to intertwine with what Robbie's doing, and the Deathlocks, and all of the more interesting multiverse things that are happening. I'm also picking up Black Hammer Reborn number 10. It's almost finished. It's out of 12. And to me, Jeff Lemire, he honestly just does a great job at storytelling. I've been reading Black Hammer since it first came out. So Black Hammer is a really important series to me. I think it's just it's a very unique way of introducing superheroes without them actually being superheroes. It's kind of interesting. But this issue in particular is definitely going to deal with more of Lucy trying to find her father and what really happened to him all these years ago. We're kind of getting this mesh timeline with Colonel Weird and all this interesting stuff. So it's really taking to like a full dimensional approach. And I've really been interested in that, and I'm super excited to see how Black Hammer will end. Also, picking up Demon Days Blood Feud number 1. I am very excited for this. This is the final chapter of the Demon Days saga, and I think Peach Momoko does a great job when she's able to do her writing and art in like her own style, so I really appreciate that. We're going to really find out more about Mariko in this one and her sister Ogun, so maybe there has been a hint that they're not just Mariko and the Silver Samurai, but it could actually be Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So I think that would be a very interesting twist. I like how each character in the Demon Days saga has a very unique twist and is very Japanese inspired, cultural, and I really enjoy that. I love the anime feel to the storyline, and this comic in particular has some fantastic covers. I absolutely love a ton of these, including that gorgeous Scotty Young. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this ends. Also, picking up probably my most anticipated, Department of Truth, number 17. Is written by James Tynion, and this particular issue is going to have a guest artist, Jorge Fornes, who has done Rorschach, and this one seems like it's really diving into the classic conspiracy theory that the moon landing was fake, and maybe Richard Nixon is the one that was behind all of this, so I am really looking forward to this. I love when they take a small conspiracy theory and make it like its own issue. I think that's very unique. I really liked the Mothman issue that did that. So very looking forward to this. Very excited to see how or if the moon landing was actually faked or not. So really, really excited. Also, ELEKTRA Black, White, and Blood number 3 releases this week. I've really been enjoying these Black, White, and Blood titles. I think they're very cool. I love the splashes of colors, and I like just the small stories where you really get to see the writers and artists kind of just tell their own little tales without Marvel really interfering. And this one in particular, I am a really big fan of the writer David Pepose, and he is doing one of the short stories in this one, so I'm really looking forward to that, seeing what he has in store for ELEKTRA. Plus, there's this gorgeous 1 in 25 Greg Smallwood cover that I just absolutely love, so that's a must pick up for me. Also picking up Fourth Man number 3. This is 3 out of 4, and this is an AWA comic that I have been really intrigued by. Mainly because the artist is Mike Deodato Jr. He, in particular, has done tons of Spider-Mans, and he did the Resistance and all kinds of interesting things. But this comic really shines to me because it is very much like Forensic Files. You are taken into this world where there is these people killed, and you're trying to find evidence on why they were killed, and how they somehow intertwine. And part of the really cool part about this comic, too, is that Mike Deodato brings in some actors and some familiar faces that you see. So Paul Giamatti is a familiar face, and, you know, there is a couple of very familiar faces in there, and I think that's a very interesting way, because it really does make it seem like a television show, or a movie, or of some sort. So I'm very interested to see the third issue, and I can't wait to pick it up. Also, Ghost Cage #1. This one seems interesting to me. I am very excited because it is written and drawn by Nick Drogata, who did the art for East of West. And East of West was a very popular Image comic that was written by Jonathan Hickman and drawn by him. And honestly, I really loved his art style, and I really just want to see more of it, so I'm going to take the chance on this one. It is just a miniseries out of 3 parts, so that's not so committed, you know, so I really want to try it out and see what he has to give for himself as a writer and an artist. So, super cool, interesting sci-fi concept that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully it's just as good as it seems. Also picking up Godzilla vs. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1. This is written by Cullen Bunn and drawn by Freddie Williams III, or the second, my bad. And I am really looking forward to this. I love when big mashups, you know, team ups. IDW and Boom are teaming up for this comic, and it looks like it's just going to be a really fun, action-packed aliens, kaijus, Godzilla. I'm just looking forward to having fun. So there's some comics that I love out there that really are just like a fun and nice embrace, and there's some that I really dive into, and this one just seems like one of those ones I'm just gonna have so much fun with. So I can't wait to see how these characters are gonna intertwine with Godzilla, you know, the Megazord gonna fight Godzilla, or what's gonna happen, you know. So really looking forward to that. It's also made by Toho, so I mean, you can't be let down with that. Also, Gunslinger Spawn #6, I will be picking this up, is written by Todd McFarlane, drawn by Brett Booth. Honestly, Gunslinger Spawn is kind of the only Spawn I've been really enjoying at the moment. I have been reading all the others, but Gunslinger Spawn in particular has really piqued my interest. I love how he is this time-displaced man in our world, and he's like from the 1800s, and he has no idea what's happening, or why it's happening, or why any of this makes any sense to him, but he is just here to hunt down the bad guys and kill them. So it's really just a fun, epic battle, and in this issue, it seems like he's really going to start battling the Clown, or is he going to follow his rules or his agreement that he has come upon? I'm not too sure what Gunslinger is going to do, but I'm excited to see what he will do, because Gunslinger has never let me down so far. Whenever there's an action scene, he is like on it. He's like shooting his crazy blood bullets and all kinds of really cool things. So just don't mess with Gunslinger. Don't mess with his hat. Also picking up Harley Quinn #13. This is written by Stephanie Phillips and drawn by Riley Rosmo. For me, I've really been liking this Harley Quinn series. I know it's not everybody's favorite. I know a lot of people have been kind of dissing on this comic. However, I wanted to show it some love because personally, I think it's been a great treat. I think Riley Rosmo's art really blends well with this comic. I think having his art be this crazy, not super realistic, it makes me feel like I'm in Harley Quinn's mind sometimes, because I feel like her mind is so crazy and loopy and like all kinds of stuff. So I personally think he does a really great job. I also think Stephanie Phillips does a pretty great job herself. I think she gets Harley Quinn. I think she understands her assignment, and I think it's great. I think Harley Quinn being this hero version of herself now is very fun, and she wants to be more like Batman every single day, and I think that's just a really interesting take. Do I want Harley Quinn to be like this forever? No, but as of right now, I've really been enjoying this storyline. I'm also picking up Hotel, Volume 2, Number 4. I know not too many people really talk about this comic either, but I wanted to give it a little spotlight. I do buy this issue, this comic, and I think it's really great. I think Hotel is very interesting to me because the writer, John Lees, he has a very creative sense of how to write things. Each issue takes place of a different person in one of these hotel rooms. And as each issue goes on, you see the other characters from previous issues, how they've been intertwined into this story. And by the end of it, at least in Volume 1, they all intertwined in this hotel. And to me, I think that's very cool because you had all these little foreshadowings throughout each one. And it kind of makes you want to reread the entire story once the last one comes out because you want to find all these tiny details. Not to mention that this book is terrifying. There is some very scary images in it, and I find that crazy impressive. So I'm really glad I got this Volume 2, and I hope there's a Volume 3 in store for us after this. Also picking up Human Target number 6. This is written by Tom King, drawn by Greg Smallwood, and I have been absolutely loving this whodunit comic. I think whodunits are really interesting, and they take me by surprise every time. I always think I know whodunit, and then by the end of it, I'm always surprised. So I'm really excited to see how Christopher Chance is really going to find who really tried to murder him. And, you know, he's coming on down. He only has 6 days left on this issue, so will he be able to find the truth? I'm not too sure, but hopefully he finds it soon. Also picking up Philadelphia number 20. This is written by Rodney Barnes and drawn by Jason Shawn Alexander, and wow, this comic I honestly can't talk enough praise about. I love Philadelphia. I think it's super interesting. I also really love vampires, so that could be a reason. But now we just introduce the werewolves, and we're introducing so many new different time and space and different history characters, and honestly, you're just getting so much lore and cool stuff in this now that, like, I just can't look away. And its tie-in, the Nita Hawes Nightmare blog, is just as good. It brings tons of voodoo lore and demonology, and I just find that so fascinating, interesting, and the art is just so great, and I absolutely love and appreciate the art because it is so creepy, and you know, you just are waiting at every step to wonder, like, oh gosh, is the vampire around the corner, or what's gonna happen? So really looking forward to this issue. It looks like America's untold history is going to be finally laid bare, and Seesaw will find a way to save the city, or the undead flesh will be ripped apart from the bones as a warning to others. So very creepy. I'm very looking forward to this issue. Also picking up Maestro, World War M, number 2. This is written by Peter David, and I'm a huge fan of Peter David. I think he's great, and I'm a huge fan of Maestro. I think Maestro is a very interesting Hulk character. I like that he is borderline villain, borderline good guy, and you never know what you're really going to get with him. So honestly, I've been absolutely loving this. This one is introducing Namor into it, the storyline as well, and I am really looking forward to how this Maestro series will end. This is a third part of his series, so really looking forward to how this will conclude. Also picking up Maniac of New York, Bronx Burning number 4. This is an Aftershock comic written by Elliot Kalan and drawn by Andrea Mutney, and Maniac Harry is essentially just Jason. I have nothing wrong with that, however, and I love it, but he's Jason from Friday the 13th, and I think it's super cool. He's just this maniac slasher serial killer that is let loose in New York, and in this issue in particular, he's at Yankee Stadium on opening day. Yeah, I'm terrified for those people. So we're going to see the mass massacre of this event at opening day at Yankee Stadium, and I'm sure it's going to be just as bloody as the rest of the comics been. So I absolutely do love those movie homage covers, so really big fan of those. I hope they keep pushing those out, and this has been really one of my favorite aftershocks as of late. Also picking up Rogues #1. This is written by Joshua Williamson, and it is a Black Label title. Sorry, excuse me. It is a Black Label title, and I am really excited about that because most Black Label titles have been Batman recently, and frankly, I like something other than Batman to be in this adult section of DC Comics. So I'm excited that we're getting Rogues. It is 4-parter, and it looks like it's really going to dive into the most insane of the Flash villains, particularly Captain Cold. And he is going to definitely probably regain all of his Rogue members. I'm assuming like Mirror Master and people like that. So having them be in this Black Label series, maybe we're going to start feeling more emotional towards them. Maybe they're going to have some real like dark history or dark plans ahead of them. I'm not too sure what I'm expecting of this comic. I'm just really excited. I don't know. I think it's just because it's not a Batman title, I feel like. I love Wonder Woman Historia. I think that one is fantastic, and I'm really excited for the Aquaman one. So, I mean, what could be more Black Label than a bunch of Flash villains? I mean, it just seems honestly really, really cool that we're diving more and more into these characters. Also picking up Saga #57, and Saga to me is just a breath of fresh air on some comics. This is honestly just a really, really cool storyline of connections and relationships, and not necessarily much action happens in it, but there is a lot of high stakes, and you worry about these characters quite a bit. So this one in particular, the cover looks like it has the Will and the Lion Cat on it, so I'm really excited to see what the Lion Cat brings in store for this issue. Also picking up Shang-Chi #10. Shang-Chi is written by Gene Ewing Lang, and honestly, I've really liked him since Superman Specialist Clan. So when I saw he was writing Shang-Chi, I knew I was going to pick it up. I've picked up plenty of Shang-Chi comics before. I like really martial arts comics. I think they're very fun. And this one in particular is really highlighting Shang-Chi's family and what it means for him to represent his family and how negatively the Avengers look at him for it. So really looking forward to see how this one works out. I'm also picking up Venom Lethal Protector #1. I'm really looking forward to this because I love the old school Venom, especially the old school Eddie Brock. I just love the down to basics, so I'm really, really looking forward to how this comic plays out after, you know, all the Venom history that we've encountered. Like, are we just gonna erase that and hopefully just stick with the older stuff, like the 90s of Venom? So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one plays out in particular. And, you know, I mean, it's a 1 out of 5. If you like old school Venom, 90s Venom, you're probably gonna like this comic. Also, this is probably my pick of the week. It is We Have Demons #1. It's written by Scott Snyder and drawn by Greg Capullo. It's a Dark Horse comic, and I have been really, really excited for this. So Scott Snyder announced that he was working for Comixology and that he would have a lot of his comics seen digitally before they are printed. So this one has already been seen digitally. Unfortunately, I have not gotten the chance to read it yet. I've only gotten a chance to look at a small preview of this. But man, that small preview has shown me a lot. And I have dived into this hands down, face forward, all the way in. I'm really looking forward to this comic. There's also a gorgeous Peach Momoko variant to it, which I honestly love. And I think this one is probably going to be one of the comics of the year. I think this might be a very big sleeper. I think a lot of people are not going to really notice this until it's too late, and we're probably going to be sold out. However, I ordered quite a bit for my store, and I'm hoping other stores did the same, because having that Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo team up back again, but not in DC form, it's pretty big. So I'm really looking forward to seeing their own creator own. Also picking up Wolverine patch number 1. Speaking of old times with Venom Lethal Protector, we have Wolverine patch. And this one's written by Larry Hama. And it looks like he's back in Madripoor with his eye patch. So really cool. It has that really great Scotty Young that I am really looking forward to. And it really just looks like it's going to be old school Wolverine in the white suit with the eye patch in Madripoor, you know, gambling, fighting for his life, you know, all kinds of things. And it looks like Nick Fury will be in this issue as well. So what does S.H.I.E.L.D. have planned for Wolverine? We're soon going to find out. And last but not least, I will be picking up the final X Deaths of Wolverine number 5. This is the last of the 10 issues, and I am excited to see how this ends. We haven't really gotten a clear conclusion or clear reasoning why this is happening. It really tends to seem like a lot of it had to deal with Moira, but I am really looking forward to seeing how this ends, and hopefully it tips our toes into what is to come for Wolverine in the future. So that's going to be it, and those are all my pickups that I'm picking up this Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Be sure to check out all these comics and many more at your local comic shop. Have a great day.